on Funniest Pets and People, a dog gets tied up. A baby a la mode. A horse stops short. A dog dons his gay apparel. A pooch has a tiger by the tail. And a little buddy gets muddy. It's the show that will have you sick, stay, laugh, and beg for more. Welcome to Funniest Pets and People. The difference between pet toys and people toys is the amount of slobber on them. Before having kittens of her own, Muffin here used a stand-in so she could learn responsibility. The best thing about having stuffed kittens? Well, no vet bills. At this point, Babs has no idea where the kite is. She just wants to untangle the string and forget this afternoon ever happened. In hindsight, Mom insisting that the dogs decorate the yard for Kimmy's 3rd birthday party probably wasn't a great idea. I mean, first it took them 3 hours to blow up a single balloon, and now they can't decide where to put it. At this rate, the decorating should be done in time for Kimmy's 30th birthday party. Everyone told Rhonda she was crazy, that theirs was a relationship doomed to fail, but she didn't listen. No matter what they tried to put in her head, she knew in her heart that her new boyfriend had soul. As part of his ninja training, Foofer would have to conquer the 3-balled post of woe. The purple ball signifies passion, the orange ball aggression, and the green ball, skill. After all 3 balls have been felled, then and only then can Foofer face the dog. Sure, you, the home viewer, may not think you relate to this, but tell me, how many times have you bought a candy bar in a vending machine only to have it get caught in the coils and not fall where you can reach it? Well, the next time that happens, you think of Claude and his magic hot dog. I know I do. Bingo and Bango know how it's supposed to work, and you know, they kind of understand it in theory. But when it comes to executing the concept of sharing, this always happens. For years, toy makers have been working on the prototype for the horse yo-yo. And Midnight here is giving the latest version a test spin. Looks like the same bugs need to be worked out. It'll yo, but it won't yo. And that's a problem, yo. Charlie and his parents finally found a restaurant on which they could all agree. While Mom and Dad enjoy the all-you-can-eat aspect, Charlie was most fond of the all-you-can-wear policy. These next clips have a lot in common with an elevator. They both have their ups and downs. The Millers weighed their options and decided that installing a cat door couldn't hold a candle to teaching the cat to open the door himself. Everyone knows the fountain of youth is just a myth. But the mud puddle of youth, oh, that's the real deal. Ponce here has gone in headfirst every day for the last 72 years. That's right, you heard me, 72 years. Here's mud in your eye, Ponce. At Equestrian Fantasy Camp, horses from all walks of life get to compete in a fancy horse show. Well, take Millie here. At home, she pulls a plow, but today she's an elegant jumping horse. Well, maybe not an elegant jumping horse. And maybe not elegant either, but she's definitely a horse, I think. You know, when your wedding reception is in a chicken restaurant, it's really important to mop all the grease up before the bride throws the bouquet. Hey, you're getting married! And a sprained ankle. This runaway bride shouldn't have picked the falling down groom. Luke here has been told to stay locked up, but he's got a wandering spirit and nimble paws. Keep Luke locked up? What we've got here is failure to domesticate. Coming up, a lizard hits the skids. And a woman hits the dirt. And we return to Funniest Pets and People. Welcome back to Funniest Pets and People. These next clips are all wet. Cue the waterworks. As Ramona washed the suntan lotion off, Rico wondered why the water in his bowl doesn't taste like coconut. I mean, this is like he's drinking a puppy pina colada. And getting caught in the rain. Mr. Jinx definitely likes giving himself a bath in the traditional way. But every now and then you need to give your tongue a rest and let the sink do all the work. I know, I found that to be true in my personal life. Igor found out the hard way. There's a reason it's called a bicycle and not a water cycle. Cycle. You know what I mean. Tina has heard it before the wedding, but now she was experiencing it firsthand. Men never want to stop and ask for directions. Oh, sure. Mom thinks that's hilarious. I don't think Dad's gonna find it so funny the next time he brushes his teeth. Some dogs you hose down and some dogs you spritz. Daniel's a spritzer. dainty, ain't he? Okay, here's a lesson for all you park goers. If the sign says 60 pounds and lighter, it might be best to pay attention. Hey, if you loved them before, you'll love them even more now. It's the funniest pets and people rewind. Rhonda told her husband she wanted to hear the pitter-patter of little feet. So he bought her a lizard. Skitter, scatter, pitter, patter. Come on, what's the difference? It's a lizard, folks. Okay, now in Brutus's defense, he did give the kid a head start. But how big a head start does this kid need? That kid has been tagged and he is definitely out. It happens every single year. Uncle Jimmy has too much coffee and the chase is on. Not a child is safe from this runaway uncle's tickle attacks. And apparently, neither are the tables. When Hucklebuck's owners were too lazy to take him for a walk, well, they just put him in the car and hit the wiper button. He gets a workout and the windows shine like new. Drazen knew he was digging for something, but he forgot what it was. Oh yeah, a hole. Good as new. It is a proud day in a hamster's life when Dad shows you how to use the wheel. Yeah, better make it 2 days. Hey, Cindy, hat or helmet? Hat? Are you sure?
Okay, this one good now.
Okay, say cheese. Okay, now you know why we offer the helmet. Although it seems like a nice gesture, maybe you shouldn't invite the bride's ex-boyfriend to your wedding. Sometimes they act up. It's a good thing she's got the Kevlar veil. Coming up, a dog gets rough with Santa. And a rat gets tough with plaque. When we return to Funniest Pets and People. Welcome back to Funniest Pets and People. 'Tis the season to be funny, ha 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 ha. You know, they look really cute in all the books, but man, elves, they just don't look the same in person. And I gotta tell you, the reindeer, oh, he really looks different. His nose isn't red, it's wet.
Santa's doing a nice job over there. Open your presents.
Why does this cat continue to lick the wrapping paper? Because he heard that the Nutcracker was sweet. You kid, it's a Christmas cat joke. Okay, next clip. Here it is, December 21st, and her master wants to start opening the gifts. Well, not if Precious can help it. You see, she knows that Santa would want them to wait 4 more days, and she will stand guard the whole time if she has to. Now, if her master wants to open these gifts with all 10 fingers on Christmas morning, he'd better back way off.
I want that little.
You know, Christmas means different things to different species. To humans, it's a time to celebrate with family and friends. But to a dog, it just means a stranger is in the house. You can't really blame him. 364 days out of the year, he's supposed to bark at anyone who comes down the chimney. Normally, at a school Christmas pageant, it's difficult to pick your child's voice out of the crowd. But we were able to isolate this boy's vocal track. Let's listen. You've heard of one-hit wonders? Yeah, well, this guy's a one-note wonder.
Hello. What's your name?
Ariana.
Ariana had opened all her gifts, but she didn't get the one she'd wanted the most. Her grandma to leave her alone.
This poor little girl doesn't have a name.
Ariana.
What's your name, Ariana? How old are you, Ariana?
If you open the drapes like Harvey here, you'll always be sure to see stars. Buddies, friends, compadres, amigos, no matter how you say it, these clips feature pals. The benefits of taking milk baths? Well, you get smooth, soft skin that keeps you looking young. The drawback to milk baths? You get a lot of unnecessary attention from the cat. Ooh, let's hope she doesn't start using fish oil on her cuticles. They say strong fences make good neighbors, but unfortunately they don't stop those neighbors from popping in to say hello. Or to get a little sugar. If you've suffered a great loss, you can always count on a pal to get you through it. Take Bowser here. He's willing to help his friend Stinky deal with the loss of his favorite chew toy by offering up his ears as a quick substitute. Tony escaped from the circus, and he was attempting to pass himself off as a dog. Too bad for Tony, he's a tiger, not a chameleon. With Y2K just hours away, these two threw caution to the wind and made a love connection. Unfortunately, 6 days later, it was proving harder for Donna to move on than Guillermo would have liked.
Did you remember to brush your teeth? No. Oh, goodness. Here you go.
The toothbrush cabal doesn't want you to know it, but all you really need for good oral hygiene is a hungry rat and a brave subject.
Good job. Oh, these are the
Folks,
best.
when you watch this clip, recognize that this child's mother is encouraging this behavior. Don't forget to floss with the tail, honey.
Good job.
Hey, as far as Jimmy was concerned, if you want something done about the rat population, get a cat. Coming up, question, is the pet of my pet too? When we return to Funniest Pets and People. Welcome back to Funniest Pets and People. Brian had spent his whole life wondering how it felt on the other end of the leash. And now that he knew, he was going to take full advantage. Now, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if you don't believe it, you just ask Rob. See you next time.